Hey, how's it going, you guys? This is petplatypus here, and it's time to review a couple more episodes of Yu Yu Hakusho, which are way fucking overdue, and I really do apologize about that. I've just been sick for the past week, as I mentioned in my previous review for JoJo, in case you didn't see it. I have been sick for the past week, that's why I haven't been able to do videos, but I'm feeling much better. If I sniffle in this video or whatever, I'm sorry, but still sick a little bit. Yeah, so episode, I believe this was 59, I believe. And, yeah, it's Kuwabara's fight versus the Elder Toguro. But before that, we get kind of like some downtime. There's this weird, like, ogre comedy where he's, like, trying to commentate throughout the episode. Not a fan of that. Really didn't do anything for me. Embarrassing to watch would be a just description of that. It was just really weak-ass comedy. But nothing to super, complain about or anything. Super complain? Whatever, that's a thing, I guess. I made it a thing, fuck it. No, I don't know, that kind of comedy didn't do it for me. If anyone else thought it was funny, that's totally cool. I just thought it was really just awkward and meh. Didn't do it for me, but, everything else in the episode, as far as the downtime, with Kuwabara getting more anxious and nervous about his upcoming fight, I thought that was all really good. Even after he sees Yukina, he still gets nervous. Normally he feels invincible. Fuck, he was invincible in that one fight, but, yeah, he's just not, how do I want to say it? It's like the first time in the whole tournament where he doesn't have his confidence, I guess I'll say that. And it's, justified. The dude's overpowered as fuck, and we see more of how overpowered he is in this episode. Toguro, younger Toguro, I have to fucking differentiate them, I guess, right now. Younger Toguro just comes in, carrying the arena. I was done. Like, that was just badass as fuck. That is one of the few things I do remember from the manga, is him carrying in the new arena. But, yeah, so he brings in the new arena, they get the fights ready. Apparently they waited like 6 hours, Kurama said. That's a little drastic, considering he just carried the arena, but whatever. Yeah, so he brings in the new arena and the fight starts, and it's basically just a one-sided massacre. He does have his new sword, he looks pretty badass, has this electrical aura and shit. He cuts the dude. Everyone's thinking, oh, he's already dead. I'm like, the dude can shapeshift, like, into a sword, mind you. Like, this dude can turn into a sword and shit. Like, you really think getting split would kill him? It turns out to be a dummy. He's connected underground, stabs Kuwabara, of course missing all vital spots. When he does aim for Kuwabara's vitals, he just kind of aims around his heart, pulls his things back, doesn't kill him. Taunting him, tells a story with Genkai. He basically says that he can move his internal organs around his body. We see him put his heart, like, in his hand and everything. Which reminds me, I'm thinking it's definitely possible that Adventure Time writers may have seen Yu Yu Hakusho, because Jake in Adventure Time can do the same thing. So, yeah, that's kind of just a fun little coincidence, or maybe like a little reference to Yu Yu Hakusho, I have no idea. Like a little obscure reference, it's not really that, like you wouldn't know right away. But yeah, he does that. And he's evil, and he talks too much. Like, his voice is not horrible or anything. It's not a horribly dubbed character. But when he goes on these long monologues, the voice gets, not annoying, but just kind of comical. I don't know, it's weird. It just doesn't really work for prolonged sentences, but it's not that big of a deal. It's kind of a nitpick. But yeah, Kuwabara loses the sword. He gets it taken from him. But all the taunting from Genkai gives him an emotional power-up. And it doesn't look like it's going to be one of those emotional power-ups that wins him the whole fight. It's a power-up, but it's kind of justified because, he's stronger and he does this cool throwing, like, knife move. Stabs the shit out of fucking, what's-his-name, Older Toguro, and he lays flat on the ground, blood splatter. But then he gets up, he regenerates, pulls all his body parts together, which I pretty much saw coming. And the fight is going to continue. Well, it does continue. He picks him up into the air, and yeah. But, I mean, I thought overall the way the episode was paced was fine. It wasn't too slow. They could have really dragged out the downtime more, and they didn't. We got right into the fight. Hopefully it ends in the next episode. So the story progression, it's pretty good. They needed to bring in a new ring, and they did. And the next fight did get started, and it made some decent progression. So that's cool. Kuwabara now knows what happened to Genkai. This is obviously affecting his character emotionally to increase his power. probably some development here, you know, for his character overall. Hopefully. He'll probably still act the same, but, you know, it's something. And, yeah, animation was good, so overall I'd probably give this episode like a 7.5 to like a 7.8, almost a very good episode, just above good. So yeah, there's that. Anyways, I guess I will then, is that all I have to say? Yeah, that's pretty much all that happened in this episode, so I'll just move on to the next one, episode 60. Okay, you guys, so episode 60. Sorry if my eyes look a little watery. I just had a really bad cough. It hurt my throat. Like I said, still sick. Luckily, I didn't do that on camera. But anyways, episode 60. We get the rest of Kuwabara versus older Toguro, and just a couple things I didn't mention in the last episode. It was kind of bullshit how the announcer chick stopped counting when the dude told her to, when he was on the ground, because fucking Kurama did not get that kind of special treatment. That count kept going when he launched that attack, and that's why he lost. So the fact that she stopped counting at like 8 when he was still on the ground, I thought that was kind of bullshit. And it kind of contradicts what happened to Kurama, but not a huge deal, I guess. But kind of problematic at the same time. But the rest of the fight's actually pretty good. You know, he has Kuwabara, pins him down. She starts counting when Kuwabara's pinned, which I think is bullshit. That should not count as a down when you're being pinned, but whatever. They never said you couldn't do that, so. What ends up happening is, he, like, uses the Force. No, he didn't use the Force, but he pulls what is basically a lightsaber to him, cuts up the dude, then he uses the Fly Swatter move, which is really badass. I like the idea of, you know, doing that. But, for some reason, the way it was presented just felt very anticlimactic to me. Maybe if the last episode had just been more fast-paced and, ended with him using the Fly Swatter, it would have been better. But the way you have to wait till the next episode, and it's wrapped up really early on, and there's no real epic music playing when he does it or anything. That's what Yu Yu Hakusho really lacks, is a really solid, intense soundtrack. It's got a few good songs, and by a few good songs, I mean its entire soundtrack, because, seriously, it feels like they have 4 songs, practically. They reuse the same songs over and over and over. I hardly hear anything drastically different from, you know, each song to song. It really does feel like they have like 4 songs, but, you know. But yeah, I think the whole series as a whole lacks that. But I thought the scene could have been more epic and more well done. I thought, you know, if they had ended the last episode at the height of tension, with him getting slammed down and all that, it would have been better. But, you know, got to set up for Yusuke versus Toguro, and that does not start in this episode, because we have to go through this betting stuff, and the dude's like, I'm going to wager my life, and we have a little bit of, you know, some good talking between Kuwabara and Yusuke about Genkai's death. You know, Kuwabara finally won a fight, and it turns out he lived anyways, which kind of undermines Kuwabara's victory, but he still won the fight. He just didn't kill his opponent, which that's what Team Urameshi's been doing all tournament, so, you know. Then Toguro kills him. You're dead to me. Punch, disintegrates him. Because he talked a bunch of shit about... excuse me. He talked a bunch of shit about Genkai and how she's fucking... Apparently, this bitch is good in bed. I don't know what the fuck. Like, he ran out of nowhere. Dude just starts talking about her sex life, if you know what he means. And, yeah... younger Toguro kills him, so I'm just going to refer to him as Toguro from now on. And it's going to be Yusuke versus him. And it's 1v1. That's pretty damn cool. I mean, I expected that. I don't know why they had to, like, drag it out. Like, yeah, it's going to be, you know, for 2 points or whatever, and they're going to win, but just the way, you know, if he was going to die anyway, why'd he even come back? Like, if that just feels really stupid to me. Why bring back older Toguro just to have that stupid Genkai, fucking good in bed shit, whatever the fuck. What that fucking random, like, why the fuck? That's so crazy random, but anyways, there's no reason to have that and have him disintegrate him. You could have just gone into the fight, but whatever. It's very clear that even though he killed Genkai, it's pretty obvious he still cares about her to a certain extent. Like, he doesn't like the trash talking that his brother was, you know, fucking talking, so... Yeah, I don't know. Just interesting dynamic to Togoro's character, I suppose. He's still a dick, but, you know. I just can't wait to see this fight, really. Like, this is the fight the whole tournament's been building up to. It's an extremely long arc, probably longer than it really needs to be, but... Togashi loves his tournaments, so yeah. One other thing from the last episode I just remembered, I feel like older Toguro kind of has like this... I feel like he's like a... because I've been watching the Parasyte anime, you know, that's a thing that people have been watching, I'm sure. I feel like there was a couple of scenes where there was definitely some winks to Parasyte when he had like his thumb with the eyeball, and when he did this thing with his face and his eyes stuck out like a little antenna with an eyeball on it. Just reminded me of Parasyte, the series. Might have been Togashi's little wink to it. But anyways, overall this episode, probably like a 7.5, good episode. I liked the talk between Kuwabara and Yusuke about Genkai, and I liked that's really all. I mean, I want to say I disliked the other parts of the episode. It's just... Oh, and we get the one dude's backstory, Sakio, whatever his name is, dude who bet his life, Toguro's manager. So yeah, we get his backstory, and it's really, really weird. Like, he's like, I had a family, working class, parents loved me, loved all my brothers, I hated them. Just flips it real quick. It was funny to me. He was a dick and an asshole, and he tortured animals, and he liked thrill, I guess, and betting his money. And it really makes me question why he saved Kuwabara's sister from those thugs, because he just doesn't seem like the kind of guy at all. It really seems out of character for him to do that, but whatever. That's just problematic, but it's small, it's a nitpick, so I don't know. Overall, it's like a 7.5 episode. It's good. I mean, I guess his backstory is somewhat character development. The fight's about to start, but we didn't really get too much on story progression other than ending the previous fight. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, I don't know, 7.5, 7 out of 10, okay to good episode of Yu Yu Hakusho. So, yeah, here's hoping this fight's going to be really cool. So, thanks for watching this video. Tell me what you guys thought of these episodes of Yu Yu Hakusho in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.